Hey guys, my name is Jonah Battle, and today, per somebody's request, I'm going to be doing a feeding video where I go around and feed all of my reptiles and fish and amphibian as well. So I hope you guys enjoy. To start off, we have my green iguana Charlie, which I feed in the morning. There Charlie is eating. I think he realized that I spotted him, and he's probably gonna run back up. But I'm sitting here editing videos. He's just down there eating. Not great lighting here. There we go, now it's focused. Feeding him a whole-sized adult male dubia roach. And I'm assuming that he's going to be able to split it up. Considering that these guys can eat fish, I'm not too worried about it. So I sped it up because this is actually a pretty long clip. It takes him a while to get it down. He gets it the way that he wants it, and he ends up ripping off one of its wings. But I was kind of worried about this because it looked really big when he was eating it, but it's actually fine. Like, it's a few days later now, and he's completely fine. So I'm assuming he enjoyed it because he does eventually get it down and everything. I mean, he does have to flip it around, like, multiple times. At first, he tried it, like, head first, and then he ends up flipping it around, which I don't understand. I would have thought the head first was best, but, you know, he's the one eating it, so whatever. And he flips it around the other way, rips off its wing, and, like I said before, and then he just kind of gets it down. It's a bit of a process. Again, this is a big meal, not something that I'd normally feed him. I don't normally feed him fish either. I normally just feed him pellets, so this is different for him, but I figured it would be fine because it would be like a fish. But he ends up swallowing it, and everything's fine. Okay, guys, so to start off feeding the two geckos, I take the thing of food that has dried out at this point here, and I take it up to my sink and I fill it with hot water, and then while I let it soak, because it's going to be kind of hard to get this the dry stuff out, I come down and I pick out the dubia roaches with that. Then, like I said, while the stuff is soaking, I get out my dubia roach colony, which I think I'm about to get a bunch more adults from a local place, which I really want to do to like mix up the parents and make sure they're all, like, you know, put some new genes into the thing, if that makes sense. So I think I might buy like another 100 adults, which might double my colony, honestly. I think there's about 100 in here, probably a little bit more. So I'm going to get one big one for Darwin. I don't think he'll eat it because he hasn't been eating insects for whatever reason. And there's one big one right here. And then I just get a bunch of little ones for Teddy because he's been eating a lot recently. So I can use these tweezers to get him out of tighter places. It's normally easiest to just use my fingers. And I think that should be enough. And then I'm going to go up, and then once we rinse the tiny cup out, then we can mix the crested gecko diet within it. Yeah, I'm not going to show you my sink because it is gross, but here I have the empty cup, and now I got out the Pangea gecko diet with insects, and I think soon I'm going to be getting one of the fruit ones and start feeding this to Teddy solely, and then feeding the fruit one to Darwin, because Darwin seems to be becoming less and less interested in insects as he gets older, which is normal. They kind of become more like, that's just kind of normal. And I want to try some of the other Pangea gecko diets and just see what Darwin's reaction is. So I just added possibly way too much water, but we will see in a second. the faucet comes out pretty quickly, and I was kind of rushing. So I'm going to set it here, and then I take out a spoon and I just stir it up. And this is like way too much water. I just want to make sure it is way too much, or to figure out how much more food I need to add to even it out. And I'm getting stuff everywhere, but I'm going to clean it up. So I'm going to finish doing this, and then I'll show you me feeding them. So first up is Darwin, and sorry that camera's a little bit shaky. It's currently sitting on a lid on top of my snapping turtles enclosure, but here is Darwin down here, and I'm not sure why he is down at the bottom, but I'm gonna pick him up and get him out here for you. So here he is, and his light just turned off, so I don't know how awake he is, but he doesn't seem very awake. There he goes. That's his normal Darwin self. I'm going to try to grab the dubia roach. I don't know when it happened, but just one day he just didn't really seem interested anymore in insects. There's not that thing that you get when, if you keep geckos, then you know the look that you get when they look at a moving insect and they realize it's a moving insect. You'll see it with Teddy. But he does like the crested gecko diet, so I'm gonna get him to get in a more convenient area to feed him. I'm gonna set him down here. I'm obviously trying to be gentle with him, but trying to get him in an easier area so I can feed him. It's easier to, have both them hands empty when I do go to feed him. So here, see, like before he'd be growing crazy that there's a bunch of dubia roaches sitting here, but now he's not as excited about them. But this is how I feed him. I'm always kind of worried that the metal spoon kind of reflects into his eyes, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. I've seen the channel Leopard Gecko. She if she hand feeds him, then she uses like a stick, like a wooden rod type of thing. But I just use a spoon. This is the only way that he actually eats, is me hand feeding him. So that's probably not a good thing, but he's just never eaten by himself before. He's always wanted, I've always hand fed him, and I used to leave food in his cage, which I don't anymore because he would never eat it, ever. So, I don't know what exactly was, if I was doing something wrong or something, but he never would. So I do leave food in Teddy's thing, but I also try to hand feed him. So now I'm going to continue feeding him as much as he will eat, and then I will go and feed Teddy. You can see that very intent look Teddy has, and that's what leopard geckos and crested geckos have when they're about to go in to eat something. Okay guys, so here's my 55-gallon Blackwater aquarium that is doing pretty well, and I'm going to be feeding it now since this is a feeding video, and I have a range of different size pellets in my hand, and I'm just gonna sprinkle them over the top here. And I have different sizes because obviously there's different sizes of fish in here. There's a lot of small fish. There's also like the angelfish and the black molly that are a little bit bigger, and then there's the catfish in the back that I don't expect to see, and he is like big enough to eat like decent sized pellets. So I have all sinking food because the main thing I feed are the koi catfish, because I have so many of them. I had two, and then I bred them because they turned out to be male and female. And now I have a ton of them, So they're mainly sinking, but as you can see, there's still some that stay up at the top, which just kind of happens with sinking pellets. So that's what the angelfish can eat, and the tetra as well. And this is a diverse group of fish here because most of them are rescues. So that's this tank eating. I love the koi catfish. I think they're beginning to like school, kinda. You can see. Oh, there's catfish. Okay, this is like my oldest animal, I think, out of all of my animals that I have. Or the longest, the one that I've had for the longest. And it's here. So that's really cool. It's out here eating the pellets. I'm glad because I wanted to get a picture of it, so I'll just take some pictures from this video. But that's really cool. And I love the way the koi catfish eat. Like I said, I'm gonna try to breed them again because maybe I'll be able to like sell the baby or sell these ones and then keep those babies or something. I just like to be able to breed them again. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I want to breed them before the babies get to adult size. Like one already is, but you can tell like that. This one right there is a baby, and then those two are the pair, I believe. So that's it for feeding this. Okay, guys, so I'll now be feeding the turtles out here, and I have, just like with the fish, I have a mix of different pellets, all different types of turtle foods, and also I have the goldfish in here, so food for them as well. And right now the basking area is broken. I'm gonna fix it. I have everything ready to fix it. Just both my drills ran out of battery, so I couldn't use them. So I'm just gonna dump that in. I'm gonna dump this in across here, and we'll see if we can spot all the turtles. Obviously, Louie, Pee-wee, and Brandy are already out here. And then I also have Vanellope and Shelby and Philip that all pop up every once in a while. And then I have the 13 comet goldfish and then 1 shabunkin. And then I have 2 plecos and a Siamese algae eater out here, or Chinese, I think it's Chinese algae eater. And obviously I don't only have these turtles, I also have Norman and Petey. Petey's in this tub right now because I need to make sure he's basking. That's what I talked to Shelled Reptiles, who is another YouTuber, and we know each other, and I messaged him about it, and he said he's dealt with something similar, and that's, I thought he had, I'm not sure why, but I felt like he had, so I messaged him about it, and he said he had, and he said make sure it's basking, make sure it's good water quality, so that's why I moved it into a 55 gallon, and that's why I am having it bask. So other than this food, a range of different pellets and stuff, I also feed them lettuce. I feed them the pellets and stuff every day to every other day, something around there, and then I feed them lettuce, I'd say once a week at the very least, somewhere around there. And I'm not sure where Philip and, oh, there's probably Vanellope under the, and then back there you can see another one sticking its head up. That's probably Shelby. They're not nearly as tame as these 3 are, and it's actually weird to see Pee-wee up here. She's normally kind of shy as well, but not today. She seems to be fine with me. And then Philip shouldn't be shy. I don't know where he is. Oh, there he is, right there. Just pops up, like on cue. So now you've seen all the turtles. There's Norman. I'll put food in his tank as well. Here, I'll get some of the pellets. He's never really been super tame, but I've never had him inside either. So there's that. So I'll just dump a bunch of food in there, and then he'll find it. And then I will put some food in Philip's tank as well, and he has a basking area. He just likes to sit at the bottom for some reason, so hopefully he'll start moving around a lot more. And the green in the water here isn't necessarily bad. Here, I'm going to put a little bit more in I don't think. I'm gonna put a little bit more in on the other side real quick for Penelope and Shelby. And you, like, I normally stick to the rule of not feeding them every day because it's really common for turtles to become obese in captivity. So there's that, but I also have them out here in this pond, so that it's a possibility that there's like mosquito larvae and stuff like that. So I assume they'll eat that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this feeding video, and I hope it kind of showed you the type of stuff that I do. When it comes to feeding the geckos takes the longest. This is pretty easy. Just come out here. I have the food sitting out here. Throw food in. Normally I'll feed the fish before I go to sleep or when I get home or something like that. And then Charlie takes like no time at all. The main time he takes is cutting up the food, but I need to do that for the dubia roaches anyways. And then I also feed the turtles what I feed him as well sometimes. That's what I mean by like lettuce. So it's kind of, it's not really that much. I kind of have to feed everything that. So nothing takes too long except the crested geckos. They take a little while. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put in the comments below. And if for more content, then subscribe. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in the next video.